Hello there, everybody. I hope you are doing well. If you're just landing on this page, I'm glad to have you. I hope you stick around and like what you see. Hit that like and subscribe button. My name is Afefe. By the way, people have been asking. I guess it stands to reason. Afefe is a little different. It is a West African name, but it means the wind or breath of life. All right. Here I go, talking right. But anyway, I'm glad you're here. If you're not familiar with me, I am a tarot and oracle reader, and I'm also a former newspaper journalist. So I try to come to my readings sort of fact based and do my homework and my research, stay involved and on top of issues, and then we go to spirit and we get deeper context and flavor for what's really going on. Okay. I'm also an initiated priestess in both African and Wiccan traditions, so I try to bring all of that experience to the channel and the platform and the readings and give you some valuable content. For existing subscribers, you already know I appreciate you. If I can get my words together, I appreciate you to the fullest. I love the community here. I love the comments that you all share. I love that we're respectful to one another. That's the one thing that I do ask, no matter what, if we disagree, this is a space. I want it to be a safe space and a safe community, okay? And I thank you all for honoring that. I really do. So, oh, and don't forget, had a wonderful class yesterday on embodying the essence of the Empress. And next Saturday, May 10th, I am offering a class on for beginners, tarot beginners, or if you haven't done it in a while and you're brushing up. So please, it's only, what, 33 bucks for an hour and a half. It will be recorded. So check the description box below for the link to my website to register. I'd love to have you along for that. All right, all that said, let's get to some business today. Taping this early Sunday morning, May 4th, I want to look at, cannot go any further without saying congratulations to our friends in Australia. You pulled it off, right? And that feels so good. Talk about trends. That feels really good on the heels of Carney's win in Canada. What I want to look at this morning, you all, we know we've got the Conclave kicking off. I think it's Wednesday, May 7th. And from what I understand, there are, trying to get my facts and figures together, there are 133 cardinals. That's a lot of cardinals. We've got 133 cardinals who are voting, representing 70 different countries, and they need a minimum of 89 votes to elect the next pope. So these cardinals have got their work cut out for them. From what I understand, now we know Pope Francis, rest in joy and peace forever. Pope Francis was quite an interesting, very globalist, very compassionate, very progressive and progressive leaning. And so there are those who are arguing already. We're hearing the stories that many in the cardinals are saying, well, we want to bring it back into more conservative views. Here's my question. We're going to go to spirit now. Given the trends, everywhere that FDT, I call him FDT, fake, fraud, felon, whatever you want, however we want to process that. Everywhere he's put his thumb on the scale to try and put things a certain way. The conservative, I can't remember the candidate now, but the conservative leader in Canada was like, please shush. And we see what happened to him. We know that there were, they're trying to put their tentacles out to every corner, all corners of the globe to try and push conservative agendas. Tried it in Australia, did not work. They're trying it with the conclave as well, and with all of the cardinals who are there. They're trying to influence that. We remember that JD went over there right before Pope Francis passed away. He knew it was, people knew due to his health, it was basically a matter of time. So we have to believe that was an agenda as well. Want to take a look and see if, in fact, that is going to be more harmful. We saw that absolutely disrespectful, even the MAGAs have been melting down over that. FDT putting out that meme of himself, dressed as a pope. Like that was beyond sacrilegious. It was just downright wrong on so many levels. For entertainment purposes only, I have to say that. But people are like, did And even because when we talk about Christian nationalism, you know, it's a different faction that, you know, within the, you know, Baptist, Pentecostal, you know, evangelical movement. But many Catholics, pro-life Catholics, are you know, a part of that base as well, and they are not happy with that at all. JD tried to come out and, you know, fluff it off as he always does. Oh, it was a joke. People, settle down. And people are like, no, dude, that was no joke. That was just wrong. Or if it was, and we know it wasn't, because the man doesn't do anything without reason or without, you know, some sort of machinations. All right, Spirit, given FDT's Pope piece and the conservative push, will the Conclave elect a Pope who is more in line with Francis, with Pope Francis, a more progressive or more moderate leaning progressive? Will that actually backfire? This pressure to push the Pope, the new Pope, in the direction of the right. Will that backfire? Will that backfire, Spirit? We have the Knight of Cups. So a lot of resentment. This goes to what I think Spirit was talking about. A lot of resentment about the fact that was done. That he came out and with that meme as the Pope. Really, really worldwide wrong all over the place. So a lot of emotions around that. Interesting. The Hangman comes. And this is the process, right? We might go through a few rounds, although some are predicting it won't be as many rounds as you know, could happen. But that's going to be a lot of deep contemplation. Oh, I get it. Thank you, Spirit. Because also, from what I understand, I just remembered that of these 133 cardinals from 70 countries, you all, many of them don't know one another. That they were saying that was going to be part of the challenge of getting people to coalesce around and together and select the Pope or elect the Pope. A lot of them don't know each other. So there's that. And then you've got language barriers, etc., etc. So they've got their work cut out for them. And I think that's what Spirit is showing us with the Hangman. By the way, some people always ask if you read tarot. I'm reading with the Marchetti Tarot. Okay? All right. I love that you're curious about that. I love my readers. I appreciate it. All right, Spirit. Will there be someone elected? Will the Pope be more in alignment with 10 of Cups? That is happiness. That is, this makes me mindful of someone who will bring people together, someone who has that global perspective, as Pope Francis did. That's great. I'm really happy to see that. 10 of Cups. And also notice that in this deck, see that Pisces symbol on the bottom there? So that feels like the Pope who is elected will be someone who has that global vision, but also dreams big, is willing to have a message and a tone and a tenor of people coming together and really making the world a better place, as did Pope Francis. We have the Nine of Swords. Why is the Nine of Swords here, Spirit, in regards to the new Pope? Why is the Nine of Swords here? Is that, and the Five of Wands. So whoever they elect, this is making me, I'm going to go a little farther, but this is making me thinking, this is making me think it could very well be someone who is more aligned with Francis and someone who is more liberal. And that's the fight. That's the stress, you know, that those who were pushing FDT and Peter Thiel and JD Vance, you know, Thiel and Vance, both of whom are Catholic, they're upset, that they're really stressed out, because everywhere they're trying to muscle their way in, it's backfiring. Look what happened in Canada and Australia. And so I feel I'm getting a sense here is the King of Pentacles. I feel like that's his energy. All right, this is the new or to be elected Pope's energy. With the Two of Cups, you all, I think it's going to be someone, if this new Pope is not outright liberal or progressive, let's put it that way, in the line or in the vein of Pope Francis, they are going to be someone who is not far right. It is not going to be a far right conservative. And there's someone who actually wants to unite people and wants to unite the church, wants to build the church. From what I understand, there's a lot of talking about the global reach that Pope Francis certainly had, that there's a lot of vision. There's always ambition everywhere, and they want to grow the church as well. And so Africa, India, other places, even China. So it has to be someone who is not just Eurocentric or Europe focused. That's what I'm getting from that. All right, one more. And Page of Cups. Remember, we started out with the Knight of Cups. So these are creative cards. This may in fact be a Pope who is able to bridge a gap, or at least whose desire with that Two of Cups is to bridge a gap between factions, between progressives and conservatives, more of a bipartisan approach, if you will. Pardon me for using a strictly political term to the church, but that's what I'm getting. And so bottom line, Spirit is showing us this push that behind the scenes that JD had when he traipsed himself over there, and certainly this abhorrent meme that FDT put out just as the Pope backfires. It absolutely backfires. It was not appreciated. It definitely registered, and it will not go over well. All right. I also want to look at today, you all, Ketanji Brown Jackson was in Puerto Rico, tail end of last week. I think it was Thursday or Friday. And it was a conference of judges in Puerto Rico. And Ketanji Brown Jackson, Justice Jackson, got a standing ovation, you all, because she came out. Many of you probably have seen it or heard about it. But she came out very, very forcefully against FDT's policies, this administration, what is being done in the United States with the attack on the justice system and judges in particular. We all know what happened in Wisconsin with, what was her name? Dugan, right? Being arrested. So Ketanji Brown Jackson has come out very forcefully and said, this is wrong on so many levels, and we have to stand strong. Judges do not, they're not criminals. They're not lunatics. They are, and they have been a stronghold up until now for a lot of these executive orders. I want to take a look and see how the truth of what John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett, those two, they are very crucial for what decisions are yet to come in regards to immigration, deportation, these executive orders. How far can they go? The mobilization and weaponization of military forces and law enforcement against any and everybody, up to and including judges. I want to take a look at what was Roberts' real reaction to Ketanji Brown Jackson's speech. Roberts, in particular, as the Chief Justice. I want to look at him, and then I may look at Amy Coney as well. Because as many of you know, those are the two conservative judges who have broken ranks with Thomas and Alito and Gorsuch. And okay. All right, Spirit. What was John Roberts' reaction to Ketanji Brown Jackson's speech? How did he feel about what she said in regards to justices or judges being attacked and threatened? What was his response? Did he support it? We'll never, don't expect him to say that, but did he support it? Five of Swords, there's a part of him that was sort of like, don't bring any more attention on us, because they got it coming. They got some cases coming their way, and there is going to be a showdown between SCOTUS and FDT and his whole cabinet, that whole faction. We have the King of Cups. Is that Roberts? King of Cups. And the Queen of Wands. Whoa, okay. So this is Roberts in response to Ketanji's speech. I feel like she's coming up as that Queen of Wands, speaking out forcefully, confidently. The Knight of Pentacles. I don't know why that's coming across to me like Kavanaugh. Maybe Kavanaugh reached out to Roberts. That's what I'm getting. Like, did you see this? He may have been the first one to. If you've been with me, you know when I pull my aces, that's the way my spirit guides tell me I'm on track, I'm on point with something. And I just pulled the Ace of Wands with that. So yes, Kavanaugh reached out to Roberts. He may have even been the first one to tip Roberts off that she made the speech and told him what it was about. And the Six of Swords. Yes. Kavanaugh. Is Kavanaugh teetering? No way. Is Kavanaugh teetering? Temperance. Whoa. So he may not be willing to say it. And who knows how he's actually going to render any decisions that SCOTUS is going to take on regarding FDT. But he internally, at the very least, you all, internally with Temperance coming, he's having some feelings. Kavanaugh is having some feelings in regards to these attacks on justices, on the court system, and on judges. Justices, judges. Wow, I didn't expect that. So he and Roberts had a conversation. And there's the Knight of Cups. For sure, they had a conversation. And I feel like they're siding with her. Now, whether that will trickle down to what decisions they make, I think they are siding with her in terms of, because it applies to all of them. None of them are exempt. Does Roberts or Kavanaugh or any of the rest of them? Now, whatever world Thomas and Alito are living in, you know, it is what it is. All right, we have the Seven of Wands, courage to stand up. So, Spirit, will they stand up to? Will SCOTUS, when it gets down pedal to the metal, will SCOTUS stand up to FDT? I almost said his name, FDT. Will they? We have the Eight of Cups. I'm not comfortable with that. Let me go a little deeper. Because that almost feels like a surrender or like, what are we supposed to do kind of thing. Queen of Swords. Okay, this is Coney Barrett coming on entering the chat. All right, this is Coney Barrett entering the chat with the Two of Pentacles. So she's going to weigh in very heavily on the subsequent decisions that SCOTUS is going to come down with regarding the courts, regarding the extent to which federal judges can issue orders regarding FDT's executive orders, and those orders being respected nationally versus in just certain districts. There's a Ten of Swords. She has been targeted. I'm definitely looking at Coney Barrett. As we know, she's really been targeted and dogged out by MAGA for siding with more liberal justices in the past. She's extremely frightened, you all. But the Nine of Wands, I think she's going to stand up to it. She's going to stand up to it. And the Nine of Pentacles. 9 justices, correct? This is the 9 justices. really, really having a line drawn in the sand between themselves. Coney Barrett is going to go over towards the liberals, I do believe, in those kinds of decisions. Never, never saying she's had a complete change of heart. But this fear that we saw in that 10 of Wands coming with the 4 of Wands. Yes, she will side with those, with the other justices, with the more liberal side of the court. She's very, very afraid with that 10 of Swords of what that means for her. But it goes back to then Roberts. Roberts takes some sort of comfort, you all, in at least having Coney Barrett being another conservative justice who has been willing or shown some willingness to come over and render her decisions based on what is really in law, based on law. And the 5 of Pentacles, they're both, Barrett and Roberts are concerned about being ostracized from their conservative brethren in SCOTUS. But it's the cost of doing business. And there's the Queen of Cups. That's one of the other liberal justices. I don't know which one. No, it's not. This is, oh my gosh. This is a spirit. I don't know who that is. This is a spirit. And they're saying fight. Fight, fight, fight. Ginsberg. Oh my gosh, is this Ruth Bader Ginsburg spirit? Is she coming through? Yes, she is. 7 of Pentacles. She's like, look, it's time for you all to reevaluate some things. There is something about, they are either going to review decisions that she had rendered in the past or opinions that she had rendered in the past. Or maybe that is even a part of what Amy Coney Barrett has been in her own time reviewing, that has informed her choices. And there's the Emperor. Her choices of how to combat what FDT is doing and has done and wants to do regarding judges across the country. And it does not stop at the Supreme Court, clearly. That's what... Ooh, so Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the spirit of Ruth, has entered the chat. And that has a lot to do with somehow, some way, that has really moved Coney Barrett. And I think on some level, she's touching or somewhere in the energetic realm of Roberts as well. So, yes, they are... This is really pulling them because it's survival. It's survival of the fittest. And they recognize that for every inch they give FDT, he's going to take a mile. He's going to take 10 miles. And that is also those miles lead right back to their doorstep. So we're going to see a lot of that. All right. Finally, you all, I wanted to take a look at, I understand that Claudia Scheinbaum, who has done, arguably a really amazing job in navigating all of this with FDT. But he offered to put troops in Mexico. Many of you may have heard this. He offered to put troops in Mexico, supposedly to battle the cartels in Mexico. And Scheinbaum said, don't need that. We got this. We know what we're doing over here. Thanks, but no thanks. There was more to that, you all. FDT, I want to take a look. Why is FDT really wanting to put troops on the ground in Mexico? Something about that feels very, very related to immigration, deportation. I don't know if I'm getting a hit that there was definitely an ulterior motive. It was not about putting U.S. troops in Mexico just to battle cartels in Mexico. There's already been proof that the numbers crossing the borders are practically zero. The flow of fentanyl to the U.S. has been drastically reduced. That was not the the clear and honest reason for wanting to put troops there. Actually, I'm being told to go to my Kipper deck to see this one. So, Spirit, what was FDT's real motive for wanting to put troops in Mexico, and will he continue to push that? What's his real motive for wanting to put troops in, U.S. troops in Mexico, to send troops to Mexico? What was he really after? And is he going to keep pushing that? So he was trying to butter her up, butter Sheinbaum up, to appear that he was genuinely offering some sort of alliance. Because he doesn't want to see the complete deterioration with Mexico in the way that he's witnessing it with Canada. I just heard that. Imprisonment. There we go. There we go. All right. This is about immigration, deportation, and perhaps even having facilities or having access to prisons and facilities in Mexico that would then facilitate, because Mexico's right there on the border. So it alleviates I get it. Thank you, Spirit. It alleviates the whole issue of having to get buses and put them on planes. Those who ICE goes after to put immigrants on planes and ship them to El Salvador or other countries in Central America or wherever. It alleviates, because it's right there on the connection with Mexico, on the border connection with Mexico. That's what it was about. And I think she saw that karmic masculine came back to bite him. She saw that. Claudia Scheinbaum's as that what's that commercial? You got to be quicker than that, right? yeah. She saw that coming. She definitely, the veil. All right. She saw right through it. She saw that coming. All right. So we don't even have to spend a lot of time on that. Even if he continues to attempt it, she sees it for what it is. And he's not going to just haul off and try to take over Mexico. That's not happening, right? Better not. So that's what that was about. That was his ulterior motive. It was related to immigration and detention centers in Mexico. And she knew that. Scheinbaum knew that and said, I don't think so, mister. Try again. All right. All right, you all have a good one. I will check in with you in a couple of days. And always, please remember, keep your chin up and your shoulders back. Stay relaxed, as much as we can. It is not easy, but everything is unveiling and happening bit by bit by bit. We are going to be good sooner or later. Damage done. And the hurt ain't over. We know there's more to come. But again, we have to stick this out for the long run. Things will turn around. And I know many of you get frustrated with me, like, Afefe, if you tell me 2026 one more time. But one way or another, we shall see. Okay? Take really good care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye.